Here we are back in the shop, and today we have this heat transfer machine. That's right, you used to be able to put your t-shirt in there, a logo, and bing bang boom, you would have a bunch of merch. But I tell you guys what, I noticed there was a massive sheet of aluminum underneath it. So right off the bat, this guy is coming in at a massive 75 pounds. Yeah, that's right. So if you were to take that into the dump, that would cost you 6 cents per pound at 75 pounds. That's going to be $4.50 at the dump to get rid of. Why? Because of all the rubber and the wood and everything else, they're going to make you put that into the hard rubbish and pay for it. But I tell you guys what, if you go 10 miles in the opposite direction, they're going to pay you $4.50 in shred. That's absolutely right. Ironic how the price of shred and the dump fee is exactly the same per pound. But I tell you guys what, there's got to be more inside. So let's get that back up on the bench and check it out. So there ain't nothing to it but to do it. There are tons of screws everywhere, but we're going to just take everything that isn't tied down apart. So we got the back taken off, and I'm actually pretty surprised at what I see. I don't see a massive transformer. In fact, I see a lot of pneumatic tubes and a few sensors, and maybe some silver contacts right here. Those guys right here, absolutely. Those are going to be some nice silver contacts on that solenoid switch right there for sure. But I was expecting a lot bigger transformer, but our plan changes nonetheless. We're still going to gut this sucker. So I wanted to bring you guys in here because we're running into something that we don't normally run into on this channel, and that's called prepared steel. For all you guys that don't know what prepared steel is, all these very thick brackets, these bolts, in fact, even this material right here is super thick, including this frame right here. Now, why is that important? Because it's going to turn this from a 90-cent piece of shred steel into a $1.80 for prepared steel. Prepared steel most of the time is almost double the price, if not more. So in fact, you want to make sure you take any rubber grommets and all the other small parts off of there. You already seen me drill out the little sheet metal off the bottom of it, clean it up, and it will be worth double your money. So we got this beautiful, beautiful chunk of cast aluminum. You can see the casting marks and stuff inside there. You can see where it was milled down, but it's a very hefty chunk of aluminum. But before we can call it clean cast or whatever they're gonna give us for it, we need to get this rubber mat off. I started peeling it off when we were goofing around with the shorts and stuff like that, but it seems like it's gonna come off pretty easy. All right, so we got that guy all nice and cleaned off, and what did we get? Well, I tell you guys what, we got 8.5 pounds of clean cast aluminum. Absolutely, it took us a few minutes, and now effectively we've upgraded to $9.35 for that guy. That's right, 8.5 pounds at $1.10 a pound. Why do I have an arrow by the cast aluminum? Because if you bring in thicker and bigger pieces and you bring in more weight, they will give you a special price, but we put the regular price on there. Now, if we just put it in a shred, we would still only have $4.50, but now we've doubled our money. But something's telling me that there's going to be more nice cast aluminum inside of this guy. So let's crack him open and see what we're working with. Let's go. That's right, that is another massive chunk of cast aluminum. But first, you're going to have a nice chunk of prepared steel. We're going to put that, and that's all going to add up. If you're going to put this in your prepared steel, make sure you take the wood and all the accessories off of there. But this guy's going to stick around on the channel for a little while. You're going to have your shred steel. Again, that all adds up. You're also going to have silver bearing material here. That was that knob or the temperature gauge. And that's how that works. We're going to put it in our bucket. We're going to save it. Why? Because it has silver. This has absolutely nothing in it. So it's going to go into our shred steel if you don't have another reason for it. You're also going to have your low-grade wire. Again, that will all add up at the end of the episode. But what do we have here? We have that massive, massive cast aluminum. That's right, but don't get too excited. It's 12.9 pounds, which makes it heavier than that guy. But why do I say not get excited? Because it's going to be considered dirty cast. Why is it going to be considered dirty cast? Because it has that heating element that runs all the way through here. And I know you guys can't really tell, but that is highly magnetic right there. So that's going to be dirty cast. Now this is a prime example of what you should and should not chase as far as a scrapper goes. That guy back there is 8.5 pounds, and right now as a clean cast that's going for $1.10 a pound. That's 8.5 pounds. That's $9.35. Now this guy here weighs a considerable amount more at 12.5 pounds, but I tell you what, because it's dirty cast, it's going to go for 74 cents. Now that's going to net you $8.89. Now would you be able to go through here and get all that metal out of there? Absolutely, you'd be able to get that Ferris loop right out of there. But I tell you what, again, is it worth your time? Absolutely not. So instead of sitting there for the next half an hour trying to take it apart, we're going to take our $8.89 and be on our way. Now we have that control panel. That's right, you're going to have your gauges, your switches, you're going to have some lights. They're probably not going to be LEDs, they're probably just going to be lights inside there and some knobs, and it's going to have some silver contacts right there. Absolutely, these guys are great for silver, and we're going to get that out and check out the copper stuff inside of there. You're also going to have some pneumatic tubes, and you're going to have some brass down in there, so we're going to get the brass tidbits. I think that's even going to be some more aluminum. So we're going to get as much of this out there that I see kind of fit, because the rest is actually just going to end up going into our shred steel. We had to give it the what for, but we got it all broke down. So you're going to have some plastic tubing right here. Again, that's unavoidable in a lot of your material. You're going to have this, for all intended purposes, this is nothing more than shred steel. There's nothing behind this. There's a light bulb there, and there's nothing in this guy here, and there's just a little pneumatic device in the back of it. Now you're also going to have your low-grade wire. Again, I leave everything, including the ends, on it because it just doesn't pay to sit there and muck with it. You're going to have your silver bearing material right here. Again, if you guys get down in there, those are going to be some really nice hefty silver contacts. Now I'm not sure about this guy. I'm pretty sure there's going to be some silver plating, and I do believe that's going to be brass inside there. There gives me no reason to think that that is actually gold. We also have some more cast aluminum. This was the case for it. We got this cleaned off, so that's going to be a clean cast, but this unfortunately is not. You're going to see the brass right there. That's right. We tried to get that brass off there every which way from Sunday, and it just, again, became not worth it. So I don't know if that's going in as dirty brass or if that's going to have to go in as dirty cast aluminum. Probably dirty cast aluminum. Now, you're going to have this box right here, and it has some brass tabs, and that thing is absolutely cool. Unfortunately, it's potted in the center, so we're going to have to explore and see what we can do because, again, yeah, you're going to have some silver solder and some brass nubbins on there. Now, we had a solenoid inside of there that had a little spool of copper inside of it. It went flinging, we found it and went flying, and we fixed it. So you're gonna have a little scrap steel in there. So let's get this all laid out and see exactly what we got from this guy. Oh man, we got it all cleaned up, and what did we get? Well, I'm kind of excited. So keep in mind, starting off, it was going to cost you $4.50 to get rid of at the dump, or you can go 10 miles in the opposite direction, and it would net you $4.50 in your pocket. What did we come up with? Well, we got 14 pounds of shred steel, and at 6 cents a pound, that's going to net you 84 cents in your pocket. Now, I know everybody's going to say, hey, Scrooge, this thing is loaded with brass. Well, not everything is brass, and some things are not worth chasing after. It's staying in my shred steel. What else did we get? Well, we got a little bit of copper number 2. That's right, we got 20 cents worth of copper number 2. We were also able to clean up that actuator and get the cast aluminum off there. That guy is going to bring us an extra 55 cents in our pocket. That's super nice. I won't pass that up. We have a mystery floater metal. That's right, there's a little bit of brass that's going to be dirty in there. So that's going to go into our dirty brass pile and see what we get. We also going to have some low-grade wire. We got a half-pound low-grade wire, and at $1.12 per pound, that's going to net us 56 cents. cents. We also have 70% wire right here. That's right, you're gonna have to cut that plug off of there. But at $3.41 per pound and 3/4 of a pound, that's gonna net us $2.56. We also got a little bit more cast aluminum right here, and we also got some wood and a little bit of plastic. You can't avoid that, but what are you gonna do? We also have our prepared steel. That's right, we talked about it earlier, and coming in at 12 cents times 30 pounds, that's gonna net you $1.80 more in your pocket. Now we have the two gems of this episode. That's right, we have prime examples of dirty cast and clean cast. Now the clean cast comes in at 8 pounds and a half, and at $1.10 a pound, it's gonna net you $9.35. Now I know I'm gonna be able to talk to my scrapyard and get a little more for that guy, but for this exercise, we're going with the base price. Now this is gonna be dirty cast. Why is it dirty cast? We talked about it earlier, and it has a magnetic ferrous material inside of it, and it's not worth chasing to get that material out. So we're gonna put it in as dirty cast at 74 cents a pound times 12.5 pounds. That's gonna net you $8.89. So I tell you what, we made $24.75 in 1 hour of work. Was it worth it? Absolutely. To my subscribers, thank you very much for making this world go round. To my wife, I love you, and to my kids, go wash your face.